honestly do not. I definitely don't. I always end up working on Labor Day, so I just figured it ain't about that.
It's for the working man to guarantee like a day off or something, right? For the working man.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So, give you a quick backstory. Pretty boring, but this is what my life has boiled down to now.
Jeez.
I just have random facts.
It's not boring. It's awesome. It's going to be the best story ever.
So, around the late 1800s, there were...
Fuck, it's boring.
I know.
I didn't mean to cut.
But people were working in factories. They were working 12, 14-hour days, 7 days a week. There was no standardized labor force or any protection for the worker.
Yeah. No child labor laws.
Low wages, no overtime pay. It was pretty rough. And in 94 or 96, there was a huge strike, and it was called the Pullman strike. And the Pullman strike is really the one. It ended up there was a lot of fighting. I think there was people who actually died.
Where was it?
That I'm not sure.
Sounds like some sort of like Pennsylvania.
Probably. It probably had something to do with the Pullman. I imagine it had something to do with the railroad.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that led to a lot of changes. And government got involved. It ultimately led to the 40-hour work week, which is what we still have today. That was not a standardized thing. It led to being off on Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. OSHA actually ended up coming out of all that. A lot of safety procedures. All that came about. So the government recognized Labor Day as, like Mark said, it was kind of as a tribute to the working class, the working man, and it was to honor the labor force, because without the labor force of America wouldn't be what it is, right? So, so the Labor Day was sort of a designated as a holiday to honor the working class person, and it was to give them a day off. It was to kind of celebrate from where we came. And so that's kind of the whole idea behind Labor Day. I got to thinking about that. I looked it up because I thought, I don't really know what Labor Day means. Why do we celebrate Labor Day? I mean, it's probably so we can go out and buy a mattress or something.
Probably.
But
I bought a battery. It
has turned into this sort of celebration of, some people look at it as sort of the official ending of summer. Mm-hmm. It's kind of celebrated, with pool parties and, boat, take your boat out to the lake for one last time, and
drain the lakes.
Sometimes we have parades and things like that. But the origins of it go back to the labor force and the standardization of the labor force of what we know today, as far as like the 40-hour work week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That sort of thing. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I was actually thinking about that, and then I didn't look it up at all.
Yeah, the early memories that I have of Labor Day, it was the day before we went back to school. We would always go back to school on the Tuesday after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Now, Paris has been in school for over a month.
Yeah, now they start
They start in almost July.
Yeah,
right. It's like the first Friday of August.
Picked up a lot more breaks during the year.
Yeah.
So it's still...
No, we didn't have like a week-long winter break, a week-long fall break,
spring break.
We had a spring break, but we didn't have like that. There's breaks all through
fall
the year.
break was wild to me when they came up with that.
Yeah. Like we were just talking about it today.
Like
the
beginning of school,
break.
and then you had Thanksgiving. That's what you got.
Right. You had to make it through to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like
no break.
Thanksgiving started.
We had it rough.
Yeah. And then Christmas.
Yeah, shoeless in the snow.
Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to all you laborers out there. Yeah. All you people that work. Happy Labor Day.
Yeah.
Keep laboring.
I bought
or fight the power. Do something different. Fucking start a business. I think it's the same risk, guys.
It is.
I took advantage of Labor Day sales at Hyperfly. Shout out to Hyperfly.
Nice.
Hey, I need a new gi, by the way.
Hyperfly.
Okay.
Is that a good one?
Hyperfly.
Hyperflies are good.
Look, roll the dice and get you a mystery gi. $80.
What is the difference in Hyperfly and, like, I'm going to say it wrong, show roll?
Show your roll.
Show your roll?
Show your roll.
Show your roll is like a Lexus. Hyperfly is a Toyota.
Ooh, come on.
Oh.
Come on.
Which one's wrong there?
I would say Hyperfly is like a Nissan.
Nissan or Toyota? What's the difference?
Nissan. Wait, no. I'm sorry. I'm conflating.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No. Okay, Hyperfly is the one like... Dave's sandpaper gi.
Yeah.
That's horrific. Yeah.
Judo fly.
I'd maybe even give it more than Toyota. Yeah.
They're solid
So,
Toyota.
so what is like Ferrari?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know that there
is one?
That would
show
be
your
more
roll,
the show your roll.
and AP.
Yeah, because they do like drops and they're exclusive and all this that.
Okay.
Like I would put Hyperfly up there with like Kings and what's the other one?
Elite.
No.
I was joking.
Their elites are like it may be like
Is it like a Ford Fiesta?
no, they're because they're reliable. So they're like maybe
like
like
a Chevy
Honda
Silverado.
or something like that or
Like a Chevy Silverado
yeah, maybe
with a tornado motor.
Maybe.
I
yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ordered a new Nogi kit because I needed one.
Yeah, I am due
You
for a
said
new
mystery
kit.
roll. I mean
Mystery gi. Yeah.
mystery gi.
So they have mystery.
That's what I get
gis.
with you when I roll with you is a mystery roll
mystery
because
roll.
I don't know which way I'm gonna get choked or get subbed. It's just a mystery.
Wrist lock. Mostly
Hey,
wrist
I went,
locks.
and speaking of, I went through my my jiu-jitsu journal today.
Yep.
And I wrote down notes from 2 years ago, and I wrote down who I rolled with and the outcome.
Yeah.
So I had like Dylan, what all happened, Brandon, everything that happened, and the last two.
How personal do those get?
Oh,
like
they're good.
Dylan and all his.
I'd love to
fucking-
go through those.
Oh,
There's
listen,
a bunch of
I'd
stuff
love
about
those
him
I
that
literally
has nothing
almost,
to do with
I
jiu-jitsu.
almost took a snapshot and sent it to y'all because the last two it said Mark and it just says dash. It says total disaster, and then it goes Kyle, same as above. That's all I said. Total disaster.
Nothing wrong
same
with
as above.
Dylan today. I feel like he's going through some problems.
Like everybody else had like a paragraph.
Wow.
And I got to y'all and it said total disaster.
Yeah.
That's all it said.
yeah, that's about right.
Mark.
So
Kyle, same as above.
Hyperfly does a thing where they sell mystery gis. So most of their gis are anywhere from $125 to
Meaning you don't even know what it's going to
$175.
look like?
You have no idea what
What if
you're
it's
getting.
pink?
You get a
Then
pinky.
you wear it.
Then you get a pinky.
They don't have any all pink gis. They have some
And I say,
gis.
I'm not saying pink like pink would be bad. I'm just saying, what if it's a color you don't like? I mean,
Yeah, they don't. So
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, it's a mystery gi. You
But
pay
like normally these geese would have been
$150.
Okay, yeah.
125 to
So you're saving
150
some.
bucks.
It's kind of cool.
So you're
Hyperfly.
There's a
Hyperfly.
few people that are a few different companies that not just jiu-jitsu companies that are doing these mystery boxes.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd be an A2 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably would. There's some A1s you'd fit in, like an A1H.
yeah.
You
That's
definitely
what I
would.
needed to do. I probably need to do an H
A1H.
because I'm
probably fit
pretty
you perfect.
short-limbed.
Yeah, it's a little slightly husky.
And you can get them. You can get them. Fixed.
Yeah,
Hemmed.
hem them up.
Shortened.
I do have to get a new gi and no gi kit.
Yeah.
I
So I'm looking forward to the Nogi kit, and I bought a competition belt as well.
Nice.
It's a
Yeah, because you
competition
never did
black
have a
belt.
comp belt, huh?
No, so I bought a comp
Now, I
belt.
love my belt. I ended up buying a King's. It's a lightweight belt, so it's not as heavy a material, but it's pretty nice.
Then I almost bought an IBJJ. I almost bought another gi.
Just trying to be a part of the fucking conversation
It was
here.
your
Okay?
reaction to where you were like, it was like you started doubting yourself halfway through it.
No, I mean, I was trying to remember what it was called, like the name of it, but
Yeah. No, I have my. I've broke out my comp belt a few times, mostly just because I didn't want to walk back here and grab my other one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have my instructional, instructor's
Yeah.
belt, and then
Yeah.
my comp belt. But
Yep.
my comp belt's the belt I got the day we were black belts. That's the one Jonathan.
See, it's the
brought me.
opposite.
Right.
The red bar is the one that I got.
And
when
then
I got-
Dave gave me the one with the red bar.
Yep.
Later. Yeah. That
Labor
one was
Day
cool.
special, 30% off.
30% off.
Is that what you did?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So if we can, along with everything that we're finishing up here at the gym, and then I'll plug it whenever we're closer or whatever. But we're trying to get things where we can start to carry our name on like more name brand gis.
Yeah.
So that we're not always having to order from Pakistan or wherever.
Right,
With a
right,
fucking
right.
money order.
Yeah.
Best Western.
Yeah.
No, that's not right. Western Union.
Western Union. Yeah.
That's that was a different deal, guys. Sorry.
Total different.
Yeah. But that'll be cool.
So lightweight, heavyweight, comp. What's the difference?
One's thin.
So if you choose mystery, you don't know what you're getting?
No, they're not IBJJ. The mystery gis are not IBJJF legal.
Oh,
So
okay.
IBJJF now has a very strict, rigid, like how many, like, is it GSM?
I don't know.
How,
I'm just going to run mine no matter
how
what.
thick they have to be and how, all that. So the mystery gi will probably be a lightweight gi. It's probably going to be a Starlight or a Featherlight, which will be a really nice little training gi for you.
Yeah, I don't know what they're yeah. What are you gonna like? Is it like how you check tent with like the little machine? They're
They
gonna
actually
check your,
Hyperfly, and maybe
IBJJF.
Maybe IBJJF it makes them do that, but they put a stitched on thing that says it's
So it's certified.
what it is.
So
Yeah,
you
it's
think
like
I would be
so
a
gay.
A2 or an A2 short, or an A A3 regular?
not an A3,
Not an A.
Just maybe an A2 regular.
Probably just an A.
probably an A2
I'd get a regular and just have it hemmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you needed to, because some of the short ones,
or 2.
their cuts just
Yeah.
silly. They G-stringing you.
Yeah.
But
Okay, where on here do you find this whole mystery thing?
Mystery gi. Go to gis.
Yeah, I'm there.
It should be a mystery gi item.
Looking.
yeah.
Well, let's hop on into our show today.
Well, we're not talking
yeah.
about
Mystery
these.
gi, $80.
I love how you reeled us in and then kicked us right off again.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, you stole my glasses and you're shopping for a gi.
You started talking about gis, didn't you?
Yeah. We started talking about Labor Day is how
No,
we got
we were-
here.
yeah, we
Labor
were-
Day sales.
We were just
kinda
opening,
opening. Now we're ready to jump into the
then
AJ
you're like-
Scott trial, which you're our resident expert
Oh,
on.
yeah, I'm quite the expert, but
You've watched more of it than we have.
I have. I did
Yeah.
watch. I watched most of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Well, let's talk about it.
I've
Yeah,
had,
hey, woohoo! All right, here we
AJ
are.
Scott. So many
So,
of you know
yeah,
this
AJ
guy
Scott.
was the local. 10 years ago, he was a Georgia State Patrol officer, and he was involved in a very serious accident not far from here in Bremen on Highway 27
heading north.
that resulted in the death of 2 teenage girls, and it severely injured 2 other male occupants. And I mean, I don't know how you couldn't know this already. It's just I'm regurgitating a lot of this because if you don't know about this, you probably just need to go back because I'm not going to give you a ton of the backstory. But basically, the whole premise behind this, the reason it went to trial was that he was speeding up to like 90 miles an hour on Highway 27 at night. No lights, no sirens.
How fast did you say?
I think up to 90 miles an hour is what they said.
Okay.
At impact, once he hit the brakes, I think actual impact was like 65 miles an hour when he hit him, when he struck him.
I think, yeah.
And but the contention was that the car that was going southbound that had the teenagers in it turned. There was no light. They turned left in front of the officer, and it was a blind, kind of a blind turn. It was a hill.
Oh yeah, it was complete. That's the thing that kept moving
And it's
out.
been it was such a bad intersection that the state has since came in and put a median in and made it where you cannot turn left.
No,
right
you have to
there.
come down and
Yeah.
then
Do
a
turn
U-turn,
left,
come
basically
up.
like a
But
U.
it was a bad intersection, and so the whole idea was you kind of got these 2 camps out there. A lot of people were in the camp of the kids, saying that this guy was speeding, he was going 90 miles an hour, he didn't have on his lights, he's definitely at fault, blah 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 blah. Because I mean, they did bring charges against him for vehicular homicide, reckless driving, speeding. All these charges were brought against him, and that's what he was tried on, and ultimately found guilty in 5 of the 6 charges. And on the other side, you sort of had this other side of the coin, these people that are saying, well, yeah, we agree that it was bad, but at the same time, the driver of the teenagers, I mean, he did turn left in front of an oncoming vehicle. I mean, he did turn left in front of an oncoming vehicle.
Yeah,
and
he crossed traffic. Right.
right, he
So
crossed in
that was
front, and you got people saying, "Well, how could
he failed to yield?
he failed to yield? How could he?"
Because he was crossing traffic.
And then the counterpoint is, well, I mean, the guy was going 90 miles an hour. I mean, you couldn't have seen him. There's no way they could have never saw him. And so that is kind of the whole toss up, and it got sent to Superior Court here in Carroll County before a jury of 12 people, and. You know, like I said, ultimately, after about 2 to 3 days of deliberation, they came back and they found him guilty on 5 of the 6 charges. Now, he has not been sentenced yet. They'll do that at a later date.
Have they named the date for sentencing?
I don't know.
What I saw, they hadn't. The judge, which is kind of odd to me, that they didn't. Now they did take him into custody.
Yeah,
they
immediately.
cuffed him right there.
Well,
immediately.
that's normal. When you
Right.
say
Yeah.
when they say guilty, he gets handcuffed immediately and let out.
But it seemed like it was odd that they didn't schedule the sentencing. Right then, the judge basically told the prosecutors and the defense lawyers to just get with his clerk and put some time on his calendar, kind of thing. I that surprised me a little bit. Like I really thought that just Hollywood like tells you that that you get sentenced right after you're found guilty or shortly within days after, and I was a little surprised that it's like. Yeah, it could be a month, could be.
It's probably I think it's such a high-profile case for this area, and there was just so much contention around it. I mean,
Well, it took 10 years.
it took 10 years. Well, they tried to try him
Right.
in 2019,
Right.
and
Because this was a retrial.
it got thrown out because the prosecution withheld evidence, which to me, I don't know. That's a bad look right there. But,
Absolutely.
And I have my opinions on some of that.
But anyway, regardless, they got him back in there after 10 years. And this guy, meanwhile, is the mayor.
Yeah, so he lost his. Okay, so right when this happened, he lost his job. He was fired from the Georgia State Patrol. So they fired him as a result of this accident. He goes on to become the mayor of a very small town just north of Carrollton, north of us, Buchanan. In some states, the town is called Buchanan. That is the same spelling. You may or may not know that.
I do now.
Yeah, so Buchanan, in some states, Buchanan. It's Buchanan here in Georgia. So he was.
Some people actually say Buchanan.
That's GPS.
Buchanan.
yeah, it's my
That's
British lady, and that tells me where to
You
go.
can get a British lady on your GPS?
Oh yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
Buchanan and Bremen.
Bremen, yeah. Villarica.
Yeah. So he was the mayor there, and A.J. Scott, if you talk to people, so I didn't know him, and I'd never met him, but just the prevailing opinion of him wasn't really that good. Like when you talk to anybody around that knew of him, not only did this. The deaths of it was Kylie and Isabella, 17 and 16 respectively. Not only did this stick with him through all these years where it was always brought up, and then like Jeff said, the 2019 trial that was a mistrial, there just isn't a whole lot of good that's said about the guy.
Okay.
Which
It's true.
which
Even
I think
before the wreck,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
okay.
But that right there, oddly enough, is a lot of my issue with the whole entire trial. And I understand that my opinion here is probably going to piss off a lot of people, because when you read the comments, I would dare say 80% of the comments in the comment sections are against A.J. Scott. Yeah. Everybody was against him. Everybody wanted him to have, everybody was justice, justice, justice. Let's see justice. And listen, I'm not taking away from that. If that had been my daughters, I mean, obviously, I'm sure I would have felt the same way. And I think it's tragic. I think it's absolutely horrific. The problem is I feel like, and this is just part of being in a small town, it's so hard to get a fair trial because, and I'm not saying he didn't, right? I'm not saying he didn't get a fair trial, But there were so many comments that were outside of the parameter of what happened that night, in September 2015.
Yeah.
There were so many comments about his personality and him going to the bars and calling his deputies to come pick him up because he'd been drinking and, abuse of power and, his attitude and this and that and, blah, 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 blah. And I'm
that
thinking,
sounds kind of shitty. Everything you just mentioned.
I'm not saying it is.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not. But if you're really talking about a fair judicial system, you shouldn't be allowed to bring all these other factors into play.
They were able to bring all that into the facts of the case?
No, I'm just saying in the facts. I'm talking about in the court of public opinion.
Okay.
And in the court of public opinion, you can't tell me that doesn't weigh in on the jury.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, it has since the beginning of time.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that
Right.
whether
I'm
this
not
guy
saying
was
it's
a
not
good
ideal,
guy,
but-
whether this guy was a good guy or a bad guy, it should not matter if we're trying him for what happened that night.
Okay, so part of the process of selecting a jury is the lawyers do what's called a voir dire of each juror, and that's basically a questioning of each juror. That's the law, the law term for what it is to interview or question someone. A voir dire. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
watched My Cousin Vinny.
they do a voir dire of of each juror, and they ask them have you ever heard of this trial? Do you know this person? And depending on the trial, they'll ask different questions. It may be for this one, I don't know. I didn't watch the voir dires of the jurors. Usually those are public. You can't see the jurors, but you can hear the questions and the answers. In this, I would guess that they would ask them if they had any family members in law enforcement, right? That if
Right.
have they had any experience with law enforcement that would make them feel one way or the other. They probably asked, did they, live in Buchanan any, or
Or if they like ducks.
if they like ducks. So they asked them those questions, and each attorney has two different types of cancels. So they can cancel a juror for cause or for no cause. They could just not like Jeff's face and say, I don't want him on the jury.
Yeah, it's happened a lot.
And they only get, though, I don't know, most of the time it's about 10 for no cause strikes. They can
Right.
strike a juror for no cause.
Right.
Or obviously if there is something like, yeah, I used to mow A.J. Scott's lawn as an example as a kid. And
Which
he
would be
always, he always paid me,
Right.
really well. Then it would be with cause that they don't trust that he would be impartial.
I think I would have been a good jury member on this case.
Yeah.
Because I had no knowledge of this whatsoever until this trial came about.
And see, that's what
I remember when
I
it
think gets conflated a lot.
Never heard of it.
Is the difference between things that happen in court and things that happen like in chat is what we would say now, or in the court of public opinion if if you're an older person, because they
That'd be you.
because they but that's the difference, because in chat, and we saw this in the Sarah Grace stuff too. In chat, chat, okay, as my 15-year-old daughter says, chat is wild. Chat goes nuts. Chat does not care. Chat doesn't care about, legalese. Chat doesn't care what's admissible or not. Chat makes an opinion. They state their opinion very firmly.
Oh, I mean, there was comments in there like, even when the jury was deliberating, what are we waiting on? Just convict him already.
Yeah.
and I'm thinking,
Yeah, I have to. All that stupid. Yeah, but all that.
I
all
get it,
that's
but I'm
dumb.
thinking,
Yeah.
guys, if this were your family member, if this were you on trial, you
but
wouldn't want that.
I don't see where every comment in there is going to weigh so heavily on the jury.
See, I don't think so, because
I'm not saying it does.
the
I'm just
jury's
saying
not
that.
supposed to watch or look at anything.
Well,
Yeah,
so
that's
now
not true.
I will strawman you on that, because there's no way they're not. Like, you could do your cross-examination going into it, but they could easily be swayed, more so now than ever in history. Like, if you go back to O.J. Simpson.
You would literally have to take their cell phones away and lock them up in
okay.
a.
Well,
But listen-
in a scenario like O.J. Simpson, where they have all the publicity and everything on it, like, clearly at some point they're going to be swayed. Today is like tenfold.
Yeah. Well, so they are told every time they leave that jury box Do not talk about the trial. Do not do any research about the trial. Do not even talk about it to each other. They're not even allowed to talk about the trial with each other when they leave until they go into deliberation. So like when they're in the back sitting eating lunch, they're not allowed to talk about the trial. They got to talk about the weather. They got to talk about whatever else. And I'm sure some of it gets through. Right?
Do you think the weather was guilty?
Do you think the weather should have been maybe not going?
Hey, there we go. What happened?
Sorry about that.
The cameras stayed live. Our video stayed good, but
Audio
something happened with our audio and our board.
Excuse us.
But anyway,
but they're told that specifically. Don't talk about it.
2 clicks later, they're on Facebook looking at all the comments.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
For sure.
And
I don't
they're
believe that one
also
bit.
well, it's not about believe or not believe.
I just think that's what happens.
Yeah, but
I'm
I don't
sure
think
it's what happens, but they're specifically told to try to make sure to force them into
Right.
being a jury based off of the facts as presented in the case, to not do their own research.
Right.
That's why they're supposed to take notes. That's why you're supposed to listen attentively. That's why you're supposed to do all those things that they do, so that they judge it based not off of these wild chat comments and things like AJ Scott's a terrible person, but based off of the evidence, because there's so many rules for a trial and for what evidence is admissible, what's not, and some things that are very subjective to the judge even. Like you saw it in the Karen Reed trial. The judge in the Karen Reed trial looked at times very biased towards the prosecution, to the point that like everybody's looking side-eyed, like, oh man, I can't believe she's letting them do this and not letting them do this. So for this trial, I will say the stuff that I watched, it looked like the judge was very just middle of the road, called it kind of straight down the middle. Didn't really feel like they veered left to right. I will say that when I watched it, I went into the trial thinking, yeah, the guy's guilty is kind of what the thoughts that I had. And as I watched more of it, I got more gray in what I thought about it, and all the way to the point where I watched the closing of, was it Mac Pilgrim? Is that his lawyer? AJ Scott's lawyer, I think.
Our AJ Scott correspondent.
Mac Pilgrim
Yeah.
was AJ Scott's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched his closing,
He has billboards all over.
and he did really well on his closing. Like I didn't watch the prosecution's closing. I was busy and was just able to watch Mac Pilgrim's closing for the defense.
His closing remarks were great.
Was fantastic. Right. And basically he leaned into all those things that would make you say that AJ Scott isn't guilty. One, he didn't have a failure. He didn't have a right to a duty to yield. He was just driving straight. The duty to yield was to the boys that were driving the car that the girls were hit in. That he had an expert that said that AJ Scott, so it's a 4-lane highway where this happened, and AJ Scott was in the left-hand lane, and they were turning from his left to his right. So as they were turning in front of him, he veered towards them to the right. And he had an expert that came and testified that is the natural reaction to most people is to go to the right, veer to the right, because there was questions about that. So he leaned into all these things that made it a terrible accident. And he even said that in his closing, that he's very sorry, that he hated that this happened, that it was, but you can't just take everything that the prosecution says and convict his client of this because of these factors.
Well, and I think that goes back to, and this is where my opinion is probably unpopular. I do feel like it was a 2-car accident. And I think it was just that. I do think it was an accident. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been speeding.
Right.
Obviously, he was speeding, right? We know that. And he was going way too fast. I'm okay with the speeding charges. I'm okay with reckless driving. I mean, I really am. I'm okay with that. I think that
Which were a felony.
sure. I think that
So if you kill somebody in the commission of a felony, is that not vehicular manslaughter? Okay, and then secondly, so this is my whole basis for my whole argument, is besides all of that, I'm gonna have to call you back, whoever the hell that is. So I remember when it happened, and I didn't know nothing of A.J. Scott at the time or anything like that, nor did I realize years and years later he never got tried for it. I didn't follow it or nothing back then. I mean,
same.
And knew a lot of people who knew the girls that died, everything, because it was a huge tragedy. And I remember that blind spot. Like, that was a horrific blind spot. Yeah. Anybody that drove up and down 27 back then knew it, and Bowden Junction before it got a before it got a traffic light.
Yep.
It was both were terrible.
Yep, trying to get across there was awful.
Everybody was somebody trying to pull a trailer, always damn near killed somebody. You know? But he's in the commission of he's committing a felony, a super speeder felony. A, all right. B, do we not hold our officers to a higher standard? Do we not?
I mean, I think we do, but I don't know that we should. I think
why not? They
because I think you as a driver have just as much responsibility as they do, and that was part of Mac Pilgrim's defense.
He has way more in general. Overall, they have way more responsibility.
The law doesn't apply any more to A.J. Scott than it does to you.
How is that? He can walk in here and arrest me on just what anybody says.
I'm saying traffic laws. Traffic laws don't.
He can turn on his lights and boot me out of the way if he deems it okay. If he can justify it, he can pit me.
I understand.
He can ram his car into my other car, so he is held at a higher standard.
Well, okay, and that's fine.
I'm just saying, if he's not, I'll debate it. It's fine. Like, if there's a counter argument, I want to hear it for him not getting at least. Now, of course, we'll see whether or not how severe the sentencing goes and all this and that.
He'll get 7 or 8 years,
but he'll do at least that. So at the max. Yeah.
7 or 8.
My whole thing is that yes, I understand he was speeding, right? I get that, and people say, well, just like you said, well, he was speeding and it resulted in a death. Blah blah blah. I get that.
Yeah, and if that had been anybody else,
but the question is, and this is, I think this is where my pause comes in. Is at the same time, had that kid yielded? Had that kid been paying attention to oncoming traffic and been looking for the headlights and actually paused like he should have? Because I don't think he ever stopped. Had he been paying attention and put his brakes on and yielded for oncoming traffic,
they were braking.
It wouldn't have happened.
So they were braking, right? That's a fact.
So I want to ask,
like, you have to brake a little bit in order to turn.
Okay, so the facts of it were A.J. Scott hit the brakes very last minute, but he hit the brakes as soon as he saw it, so he slowed down.
They don't bring up the blind spot. Like,
no.
They don't bring up where that intersection was.
He hit the brakes when he saw them. He started to apply the brakes. But the boy that was driving, he slowed down, but once he started making that turn, he didn't speed up or slow down going across. He never saw him. So it's not like he saw out of his peripheral, hey, there's headlights coming up, and let me try to zip on across.
You're doing almost 100 miles an hour.
He wasn't speeding. Or even the headlights come. It was nighttime, right?
Yeah, but unless he had his brights on, then
I guarantee he did. I don't know that.
We don't know that. So I can't guarantee he did.
If he should have seen the headlights.
100 miles an hour is not there and then there like that.
But he still should have seen the headlights.
Yeah. Okay. So even if he did, he couldn't have determined that he was doing that fast. He may have saw him and figured he could get across.
Absolutely. I'm sure he either didn't see him.
So you can't determine that he's doing, because he's not supposed to be doing 100 miles an hour.
That's my point, is that I don't know that you can fully blame.
Okay, no,
I think they're both.
And I agree with that point. And it's a horrible tragedy. I think it weighs on him because we hold them to a much higher standard when he shouldn't have. He still killed them in the commission of a felony. A failure to yield is not a.
Okay,
that's a
let me ask you a
ticket.
question. All right, let me flip it.
So that doesn't get you vehicular homicide.
Let me ask both of you this question.
Okay.
And I'll ask you first. So if the roles were reversed, and if the trooper was going across there and didn't yield, and the car full of teenagers was coming down at 95 miles an hour and hits and kills the trooper, do you feel like the kids, what do you feel like the punishment should be? Do you feel like
I feel like the most likely outcome would have been they would have been charged with vehicular manslaughter.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that would be the most
okay.
likely outcome.
But hold on. So if the trooper, same scenario. Trooper's going straight, same speed, same everything, right?
Okay.
Kid pulls in front of him. Everything's the same.
Okay.
Kids survive fine. Trooper gets killed. Okay.
Okay.
Do you say, well, you shouldn't have been speeding, or do you say,
Well, yeah, super speeders are dangerous for a reason.
But
speed kills.
But is that kid held at all responsible for failing to yield?
For sure. But not vehicular manslaughter.
So if that kid would have been held responsible for the trooper dying, then why was he not held responsible for the girls in his car dying?
I'm not saying that he shouldn't be, but I'm not saying A.J. Scott should get off. So
agree.
again,
Okay.
so wait, I think you
But
think I'm
all the
arguing.
blame was put on
let me
A.J.
stop.
Scott.
Let me stop.
The kids weren't even.
That's
questioned.
neither here nor there. Try the kid. I don't. That's neither
they
here nor
never
there.
will.
Well, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about
is.
A.J. Scott.
I know.
So just because that kid should either got on or got off or whatever, for one, his failure to yield is not a felony. He's not in the commission of a felony while committing an accidental murder or whatever. He still killed somebody. A.J. Scott was speed kills. So
And that is something.
and it still does not get him off. He's a state trooper. Like, you are held at a higher standard, sir. You can't just be doing 100 for no damn reason. Like, you got too used to that. Uh-oh. I was gonna say I'll stop. You got to. I was like, so what the fuck can I do?
Calm down, sir. De-escalate.
I was like, maybe I did screw up. I don't know.
I understand what you're saying.
But he's a state trooper, and we hold all of them at a higher standard. They carry weapons for a reason, and we want them to. But you shouldn't. And like I said, whether the driver, whether he yielded or didn't yield, which is just a weird argument. Anyways, we're talking about a failure to yield. Like, but he didn't cross a train track and get hit by a fucking train. Like, he sort of did, but he wasn't. He was on the highway, got hit by a state trooper. That's not good.
In the investigation into who causes an accident, failure to yield is a major. It is as much of a cause as speed. And if someone fails to yield, then the other person doesn't have a duty to yield, and that person that doesn't have to yield hits the person that didn't yield. Normally, it's like the. Normally, it's the person that didn't yield's fault, no matter what. Period. No matter what. Even if that person's drunk, that's driving and doesn't have
the
to
person
yield.
drunk's getting still charged with vehicular manslaughter.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
If a failure to yield.
They'll get charged with DUI, but they will not get charged with vehicular manslaughter.
Anything you hit anybody drunk and somebody dies, you're going for fucking vehicular
It's just like
manslaughter.
the rear end thing. So if Jeff's
if you get
driving
hit,
down the
no matter
road,
what, it's your
and
fault.
if I'm driving and I rear end Jeff,
no matter how.
it's my fault.
Even if he
no
brake
matter
checks
what.
you,
Even if he brake checks me, or even if he pulls out into oncoming traffic most of the time, and I don't. It's my fault because I didn't brake. Doesn't matter if Jeff pulls out and goes 2 miles an hour in traffic.
Right. Which is why we have speed limits.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
But it's the same thing for yielding. If you don't, if a person doesn't yield, it's almost always someone.
It's almost always their fault.
Always their fault if they don't yield. Almost always in an accident. Almost always.
Okay, so Charlie, again, I think y'all are still conflating that. I'm thinking that we're not charging the driver. I'm talking about A.J. Scott here. Like, charge the driver. The girls are still dead. Like, I'm neither here nor there on the driver. Like,
I just think that,
and that's where
in this case, A.J. Scott took all of it.
He did. He took all of it.
And I think that there was no question
fault
on this teenage driver.
Yeah,
it was just like
there was more
man.
fault in this than just A.J. Scott.
I guess I'm not here nor there as far as I don't see where. I guess maybe.
I mean, they found alcohol in the car.
Yeah, but I'm not here nor there with that either.
They didn't check them. I mean, I'm just saying, dude. There was a lot of things there that I feel like were just overlooked because.
Because two teenage girls died.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that does not negate.
Really
if he'd a failure to yield
it
at
doesn't
55,
negate the truth and what should have been looked at. I think that the driver of that car should have been tested for alcohol on the spot.
Absolutely. I think
I don't disagree with
I
that.
think both should.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't think that
should be
gets
a
A.J.
normal-
Scott out of vehicular manslaughter.
Well,
Like, and I'm not against the driver being charged. Like, yeah, like you're responsible for the people in your car. You're responsible for what's in your car.
Okay.
But that's where I think you get to, as far as the law goes, there's typically only one person responsible.
right. So
So
you
you're
can't
saying that
charge A.J.
driver.
Scott
So then you're
and
saying
that
the driver.
driver.
Okay, so you're saying the driver.
I'm saying
was more
some
at
of
fault
the-
than A.J. Scott.
I'm not saying he was more, but I think that some of
I say I
the
don't know. No, I'm saying I don't know because they
think
didn't
of it as
do.
think of it as a scale,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And right now, I feel like it's like all on A.J. Scott, and it may have been like this.
Even if it's like that, if it weighs to A.J. Scott at all, he's still guilty.
Yeah, but he may
'Cause
not.
again, to y'all's point, you
but
can
he
only
may
pick
not been
one.
guilty of 5 out of 6.
Well, sentencing will determine whether or not that makes a fuck, anyways.
I'm just saying.
Because he may get a. He may
not get anything.
That's what I'm saying. The sentencing is still. That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
we don't even
We'll
know
know
where
more
that's
on
going.
sentencing. I know.
And I'm going to tell you, listen, I mean, and I say this public disclaimer: if you're friends of those girls that got killed and
Nobody wants to downplay.
and you know them, I'm not downplaying what
Not at
happened.
all.
I think
And-
it's tragic.
and
I think it's sad. I
That's
think
not
it's
our
horrible.
debate here right
and
now.
that is not
It's-
the debate
at all. At all.
And I'm not even taking sides in it. There's people that know way more about this than me. I watched 3.5 days of the trial.
No, these conversations are good so that we can have
Sure.
this conversation because
And-
nobody was thinking about that driver because
Correct.
everybody's eyes were on A.J. Scott, mostly
Correct.
because of his character, because he's kind of a cunt.
Correct.
And not for nothing, but a part-time job as a mayor in Buchanan because you own, maybe you own a company that helps that.
ran unopposed though.
Yeah, ran unopposed. Well,
so
but he had motives, like his that's not even his
Yeah.
title as what he does when he went in the courtroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's whatever, not CEO, but he's part of a company that develops land and all this other.
No, because he resigned as mayor the day before the trial, so that he wasn't the mayor.
Well, but they ask you your full-time job.
Yeah, and he didn't have that job.
But mayor's only part-time job. It's in the description. It's only
okay.
it's only labeled as part-time. You don't actually have to be in and out every day or nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So he's still even then
he's
didn't-
coming to monthly town council meetings.
No, that's exactly right. So even then he still didn't have to say it, even if he still was.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, part of that had to do with his character.
I think there was a lot of bias that went into the initial investigation,
I don't
which I think
disagree
is
with that.
tragic.
Right.
That they didn't. That we don't know if the kid was driving drunk.
Right. Well, you've had similar cases where they were tried. I mean, there was one county over that was a girl. Now, where was it? Yeah, same year, in Paulding County.
Yeah, I saw that.
A woman committed a crime. A car of teens turned into a road. She was traveling. She hit them going 75 and a 55, killing 2 of them. She was guilty on all charges. Sentenced to 20 years, due 10. So as A.J. Scott's being tried, she's starting to get out of.
She's getting out.
So,
Yeah,
and
she's
that's
getting out.
part of it too. I would say is. You had a lot of people, the family and friends of this that, they waited a decade to have any answers at all on what, even if it was, on the driver in some degree.
I agree, and I think it is a miscarriage of justice that it took 10 years to get this to trial.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
that's sad. I don't think that's a swift justice system, and
No.
I don't really know of any reason it should take 10 years for something that all the facts were laid out
Right.
the day after.
No, and
everything was there the day after.
And that kind of runs into my take that, the state really kind of failed these people in a
Yes.
lot of ways. And, given that
civilly?
intersection. Yeah.
Civilly?
Yeah.
If I'm the mom and the dad of these 2 young girls,
Right.
I am now
On both ends.
Now that the trial is over, the criminal trial is over, and you can kind of focus on that piece is done. It's in the rearview mirror. Civilly, I'm suing the state.
I don't disagree because, for one, it's a state trooper, right? The prosecution failed you for 10 years.
Just
to
that it's
get
a state
everything done.
trooper, and I know that intersection is just like any liability claim. And
It
Jeff,
has to be. Jeff,
you
yeah, you
may
definitely
have a
may
little
know
bit more information on this. Is once someone's aware of an issue, right, the liability then falls to them. It's like a homeowner, right, that their front porch steps are messed up, and
Awareness
somebody
brings
tells
responsibility.
them, and then somebody breaks their leg on it. It's kind of the liability falls to them.
there's a lot of Yeah, and
So
you're right. There's definitely neglect there
on the state, right?
On the state,
and on more than one front. It took 10 years. That's fact to try this. And that intersection was horrible. I don't even remember.
Well, the fact that
to me, I remember
close
change it right after. Yeah, exactly.
That tells you.
But they also had to quit bringing it up throughout the trial. I need to find the facts on that. But they had to quit bringing it up. Like, for whatever reason, they made it like not admissible.
Yeah.
Right? That they fixed it after.
Yep.
So I don't know if they were able to claim it like they were like after the fact, or argue it as an intersection like it is now, not as it were. Because as it was before, like there's a like a turning lane for the church. There's the one by the BP where they were hit right there, which was just blind as can be. I mean, you can't see nothing till you top the hill. And then there's the Circle K, right? Yep. That one, the other two had arrows, long turning lanes, everything like this.
Long run.
That one was very short.
Yep.
And it was just a cut through, basically.
So I
remember nothing else about that.
Just a couple days ago, I was going into Bremen right there, and I took time to pay extra attention to that exact intersection right there past the BP where they were hit. And I was doing 55 miles an hour. I don't know that I would have been able to stop,
right,
if it was still the old way and I was driving at night and someone pulls and cuts across. I don't know that I would have been able to stop then.
No, right where.
And that's part of the argument that Mac Pilgrim made.
Right.
Was that the reaction time that would have taken for him to stop, he would have had to been going 40 or 45 miles an hour for him to stop. So speed really, to his argument, speed didn't matter. It didn't matter if he's going 55, 65, 75, 105, 205 miles an hour. He would have had to been going less than 45 miles an hour for him to have enough reaction time to stop.
To not hit him.
Right.
But we don't know how that correlates to
absolutely
dying
not. No, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
And that's a defense attorney doing a defense attorney's job.
Right.
Okay. But that's still, and that's why I wanted to pay attention to it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
To see, okay, could I, and
yeah,
like, I didn't even know.
Right.
Like, you can't even see
to speak to that
where the road is,
where the memorial is. That's basically where the cut through was, where it's damn near lined up with that road. I forget the name of the road next to the BP, but it's right there. So it's not even really. That's why the headlight thing kind of throws me, because like unless you had blue lights on or brights on, like you may see something coming and figure you got time to get across. So as you're rolling up, like most people would just cut right over.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
No.
I can just say whenever I've turned right there, knowing damn well people can't see me.
And if you watch the video,
I try to.
If you
just
watch the
roll right
dash
on through.
cam of it, bro, you can't. You had no time.
Right.
There's
No,
no time.
and I don't disagree that he had no time. Like I don't. It was negligence in the sense that he was super speeding. Whereas if he turned around and he caught me super speeding, I'm going to jail right then and there. Let alone if I kill somebody.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. So that's interesting. I think we'll pay a little bit more attention to court of public opinion or chat.
No, legit.
As we go into
For sure.
sentencing, I think it'll be interesting to see as we go into
Sarah
sentencing.
Grace.
And
Yeah.
then especially
Sorry,
when
I
we go
stepped on you on that one.
No, and especially as we go into Sarah Grace and that trial there, to see the difference. And I think for us, it's important to, and for you guys, you listeners, if you watch the Sarah Grace trial, it will be broadcast to watch the difference between what happens in chat and what happens in court and in trial.
And I think it's just for me, and I think I think I would have made a good attorney. I really do, because I think I think I can separate, for whatever reason. I'm not saying I'm this way all the time, but like I'm able to pinpoint that block of time and say, okay, I'm only going to look at this. That this is all that matters, is what happened during that, 15 minutes, that accident took place, before and after, right there. That's all we're going to look at. We're not going to look at, and I understand that. I know that things matter. That's why they have character witnesses, right? That's why there's other things that come into play, but
Those things come into play in at the very before, so whether there was bond or not, and at the very end when sentencing happens. Character witnesses don't play a part in the trial.
Right.
Like those
facts are
don't
the
matter.
facts.
The facts
Yeah,
are the
yeah.
facts are the facts.
Yeah, yeah.
Who that person is sitting there should not matter outside of the facts of the case.
Right.
That's what makes our justice system so good and so important.
Right.
Is that it's it doesn't matter who I am before, who I am after. Who I am before.
Spend a lot of money.
Who I am after.
I'm putting the fucking things in. No, I agree.
We're wrapping up, and we just
it's
45 seconds before we end it. We just have to do. That's
No,
okay.
I think Jeff brings up a really good point, and like I said, I would like to keep having these debates. I would, it'd be cool if we could try to. You take a prosecution side, I take a defense side, vice versa, something like that. Judge Rev, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and
Like a
I
mock
think
trial.
I think as we kind of get into the Sarah Grace trial, I think it's something that we can talk about more. As we get into the later part of this year and first part of next year, we start to cover that a little bit more.
Which side would you take on that? Prosecution or defense?
Well, I don't even know enough about it at this point.
I'm just saying. Well, I don't guess you get to do
Not
that.
there,
Do you?
and that's something that there are no facts out there on Sarah Grace.
Yeah, I would have to know.
There's very very
Whole
very
lot of
minimal
chatter.
facts.
If you talk
There's
about
so much chatter,
You talking about court of public opinion,
It's
boy?
so- it's-
So I have a
it's so
question. I have a question,
divisive.
and I don't know how this works, but I was thinking about this the other day. And I don't even know if this happens, but let's say you're a defense attorney. All right, what do you do if you're with your client and the client behind closed doors goes,
Doesn't matter.
"Yeah, I fucking killed him."
Doesn't matter. Their
Yeah,
duty.
you're
Their
still
duty is
supposed
to the law.
Yeah,
Their duties to the law. There's a lot of
duties meaning that
they have to make sure that the state proves it the way that they're supposed
So what
to
do
prove it.
What would you do? I mean, all right,
keeping them accountable.
You're my defense attorney, and I'm sitting behind closed doors, and you look at me and go, "Hey, tell me what really happened." And I say,
So one, most defense attorneys don't want to know. They don't ask. Most of them don't even ask if you did it or not.
"Okay,
Most
that's
of
what
them
I was
don't even
getting."
ask.
Because my question was, is if I as a
They
defendant,
just don't care. It doesn't matter.
if I as the defendant say, "Yeah, man, I got pissed off and I went there and I killed him," but I want you to defend me as if I didn't.
Yep.
Do you have a legal obligation to go?
Yes.
This motherfucker
No.
just said he did it.
Nope.
No,
You
actually,
it's the opposite of that.
It's
You have a
confident.
legal obligation not to say that.
Yeah.
That
And
would be
make
hard.
the state present their
And
case.
make the state follow all the rules and present their case.
That's where I would just. That would be.
Justice
That's
system's
where it'd be
wrong.
tough for me to be a defense attorney.
Yeah, that's the age old. I couldn't defend somebody that was guilty, and I couldn't prosecute somebody that was innocent.
And that's
be tough to do.
that's why I think so
And
many
you
of
have
them.
to. At some point, you'd have to if you did it long
Yeah,
enough.
so
You just
many
do it.
of
yeah.
them
It's gonna
stick
happen.
to
mean,
the law
look at
is
OJ.
what the law is.
OJ
Right?
is a prime example.
Yeah, he wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no way that guy didn't know. He knew OJ was guilty.
Oh yeah, but see, that's the scummy side is where
if the glove don't fit, you
that's the
must
scummy
quit.
side where they're it's like winning a big fight, like they're making their way up the rankings.
And it's
That
not
was
the
title
defense.
fight.
Look, it's not the defense attorney's job for the prosecution to be competent either. And just like it's not the prosecution's job for the defense to be competent, it's their own responsibility.
We need, it'd be fun is to get a defense attorney in here on a podcast.
We could get one.
And just obviously not case specific, but in generality. You know what I'm saying? Like ask general
Just like
questions.
case studies.
There's a lot of them that do
That'd be a good
interviews
idea.
and talk
Wouldn't that be good?
talk
That'd be
about
fun.
it. There's a lot that do. A couple of them that I follow on TikTok that talk about this specific thing about DUI
Good,
lawyers.
just from like an education.
DUI lawyers, like that's all they do is DUI. They know good and well that almost every person that they're defending drunk and drove. Every one of them. Now, their job is to make sure the cops and the prosecution do everything according to the book. And if it gets all the way there and they do everything else, then there's nothing. Then yeah, they're guilty.
Right.
If they don't, then they're not.
Right.
Then they need to. It's the check and balance to make sure that everybody's doing their job the exact the way they're supposed to do their job. And if I am charged with a crime, I want my defense attorney to do it, to make sure that he checks every T and dots every I, checks every box to make sure that they do everything exactly the right way. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for hanging with us and going through this AJ Scott trial and just talking through it a little bit with you. And hopefully you were interested in it and it was something you enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, let us know. Hit us in the comments and chat.
Hit us up.
Drop us a message on Facebook or Instagram. Let us know what you thought of the episodes, and if there's a trial you would like us to cover that's coming up, if you'd like us to get the CRJ take on a trial,
If you're on trial and you would like to come on here,
more than glad
if
to
you
share
don't
your
want
story.
if you've been subpoenaed and you haven't even been, it's not public yet.
hey, if you're thinking about committing a crime,
Let us
come to us and share it with us.
just drop us the little letters.
Well, look, they're not even.
It'll be the serial.
Yeah, they're not even. They're not even coming out on here. There was a guy, I saw this. Nick Harris was arrested in Spartanburg, allegedly breaking into his grandmother's home late at night while live streaming the event on TikTok. Now he faces first-degree burglary charge and resisting arrest
Well, that's
without
just
assault.
dumb.
Yeah, we'll just help you be a criminal on that one.
This is what he looks like. So,
Well, there you go.
This is what he looks like. This is what he looks like. So, yeah. So he
winner.
live streamed breaking into a house on TikTok. So
And it was his grandmother.
his grandmother. That would be the equivalent of somebody coming on and breaking their news here on CRJ. So maybe just stick to, if there's a trial you want us to cover, we'll do some research and,
There you go.
and watch it and recover it.
Keep it open.
We love you guys. We'll
Have a
talk to
great
you guys
week.
later. Have a great week, and
Keep
we'll see
laboring.
you later. Yeah, labor when you're supposed to. Peace.